My space, your space. Your space, my space. Our space. One space, love. My space, your space. Your space, my space. Our space.
One Space Love podcast for the love of music, lifestyle and well-being while caring for our planet. On this podcast, I will be chatting with musicians, artists and creative minds that are living life on purpose while doing what they love.
Your space, my space. Our space. One space, love. One space, love. One space, love.
You're listening to One Space Love podcast and I'm Steph Pappas. I got to catch up with Lulu Mischka in this episode. Lulu and Mischka have been very, very dear friends of mine. I remember when they met and just witnessing that connection between them and then watching them step into their mission together, sharing the same values and that heart space united has been such a beautiful journey to witness and watch. And I'm so looking forward to share this conversation with you. I want to welcome Lulu and Mischka to One Space Love podcast. It feels very surreal because these two souls I love and care for so much. And it is such a blessing to have you on the show today. So welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's beautiful to be here with you.
It's deep honor, and feel very humbled to have this opportunity to have this time to talk and to share the magic.
Can you introduce yourselves to the listeners by answering the statement, I am?
I am Lulu from Lulu Mischka, and I am deeply passionate about bringing people together in a place of truth, of deep stillness, using the power of mantra and heart song.
I am Mischka. I am a human, a listener to my inner music. I am a lover of life. I am a believer in the positive and good things, and that returning to the heart space will bring through whatever is my destiny and purpose here on this planet in this time.
Beautiful. Thank you, guys. That is what you are and so much more. And I'm really looking forward to share this space with you now. So saying the heart space, Lulu and I met when I began this journey with my heart space. So let's go back to how you two crossed paths. And we're going to bring it up to today and what you're up to. It's so exciting. So we'll just take a little bit of a journey back. How did you cross paths and your souls get to be on this mission together?
It's been an epic journey, and it's a big, beautiful story, but I'm gonna just bring in the main points, I guess. We met 10 years ago at in the Blue Mountains, an alternative festival there, and it was a full moon night, and I went with some friends to a cave to sing some heart songs, and before I knew it, this cave was full of beautiful friends, and it was lit by a few candles, so we couldn't see exactly who was in the cave. But we could definitely hear each other, and the guitar went around sharing songs, and I remember Mischka sharing a song, and my heart just exploded. I was like, oh my goodness, who is this being? And I just felt this incredible deep knowing of this person, like an instant connection. And sure enough, the next day we actually got to meet in the physical, and I was like, oh, she's good looking, lucky. The voice matches the physical as well, and we've been inseparable ever since, really. It's been a journey of coming together, and I think definitely a big part of our prayer that we share together is only do what we love, only share what's really authentic and what we want to grow into, and what nourishes our hearts will also nourish others as well. And when we came together, we loved singing so much, and that when we started living together, we once a week shared some chanting circles in our home and a community house in Bondi. And for a year and a half, almost 2 years, every Wednesday, we opened our home to sing, and that was just an incredible platform for us to deepen our medicine, to grow in this practice of bhakti, of chanting, of heart songs, and really embodying another level of deep stillness through the power of meditation. So that's how we came. Do you want to continue from there?
Yeah, I mean, I want to go actually even further back and just share that as we met, we both kind of been on a individual journey of really embodying self. And Lulu had just come back from a deep trip to India,
So
embodying
six months.
embodying yogic wisdom, meditation. On this, I had several years of traveling the world and just really inquiring, being on meditation retreats myself, and then came over to Australia, and shortly after we met another meditation retreat, and just really finding our inner center in a solid way. And that was when we then met each other. Was there was a certain level of self-work and comfort within self that was very easy then to connect with the other. And
I think that's a really important point that you just said, because witnessing from the outside, it's like two whole beings came together, and then they were able to clear all the rest to work on their mission together. And so that, it is about going back a little bit more, because you have both had done an enormous amount of self-inquiry and seeking and looking and finding that space to go within. So Lulu, because you had training in meditation and yoga.
Correct.
And this is all the tools that has helped you to bring you to that meeting, Yeah.
Definitely. I really felt like, with all these tools, working with the mind, working with the body, working with the breath. And I found that by, singing was another extra flavor into then sharing that experience, and then also being able to merge that inner experience with the outer, so that it's, it's this life meeting life experience.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And what ignited your passion for actually mantras? Was it something that you had experienced before, Mischka, in your travels? Had you come across the mantras?
Yeah, a lot. And it has been, before meeting Lulu, already a big part, another anchor besides the kind of stillness practice and physical practice, also the sound. I grew up with music, but not in a certain way. I played piano and drums, and had rock bands in my teenage years, and there was natural interest in growing up in the voice and singing, but that kind of got lost. And then it was in teenage years with stories about how I sound and all that stuff. And then it was actually through my brother, who brought back from travels, my older brother brought back world music songs, mantras, but also like songs from South America, different songs that really spoke about this not about any love stories of broken relationships, or this what we find in pop music, but actually the truth of nature, of this moment, of the heart, of song, of sound, of the birds singing, all of this. And that really resonated so deeply. And I found a lot of freedom in these, especially in the languages that I couldn't understand, where it sounds like the mantras, whereas like my mind even didn't make up any stories, so there were no concepts. I was just making, when I first got into it, just making sounds, and it felt so liberating to make sound without any
Judgment.
goal,
Yeah.
judgment or goal attached to it, and just for the joy. And that just blew my mind, literally, and reaching some deep inner peace and stillness and self-love in many ways. So I carried that forth, and that was then the commitment that we had. We both had that love, and for the songs, mantras, yes, but not from a certain traditional way. It has to be in this way, just for the pure love. We both knew it makes us feel good, so let's do it, and let's invite others to do it with us.
Yeah, definitely. I just love to add on to that too. Like there's just, so many, that's part of this self-inquiry and seeking. And I feel like a lot of the kind of programming through studies and school and is a lot about, reaching for something or understanding something, but really about this process is about letting go, about surrendering, about the non-doing. And it's very powerful and very interesting experience to let, with the power of music, just to let yourself on this journey with just coming into the feeling state, in this place where the mind just rests. And in that there's so much deep knowledge and wisdom that comes from that place. And so that's just, it's hard to explain that to somebody. It's just like, you just have to come and experience it, you know? Can't just explain what mantra is and why it's so good. It's just like, just come and experience it. And in that you can speak from that experience. Yeah.
From that experience, so just going back to Mischka, you grew up in Germany. Lulu, you grew up in Australia. And was there something that sort of made you want to look and seek and connect to that inner space and find that stillness? Were there any, pivotal points along the path that woke you up or gave you that curiosity to take a different journey? Yeah. Big time.
Big time. I think we both, definitely, I finished as soon as I finished high school, I was really blessed with the opportunity to go travel the world for 3 years. And
Wow.
very immediately I saw this, kind of 9 to 5, lifestyle, and that everywhere in all parts of the world, everyone just needed the same basic needs of survival. And I saw very quickly, I was like, wow, so am I really working to work from 9 to 5 and only have weekends off? And I was doing the maths. I was like, wow, that's not really many days to celebrate and be in this world, in this life. And I was like, far out. I just want every day to be a holiday. I want every day to be like a retreat. I want my work to be an offering and an opportunity to grow in something that I love. So it was that deep kind of immediate, like, when I find that, I'm going to share that. And so it was that, but then also the deep seeking or self-inquiry came from physical pain. I suffered from physical pain for many years. I had chronic sciatica in my back, which is kind of illuminated into an autoimmune disease. And through this chronic pain, which I was basically surviving off pharmaceutical drugs for about 6 years, and a lot of kind of gut problems and fogginess of the head, and in this inquiry, made me start doing yoga asana to help me understand what was going on with my body. And when I went into this yoga world, I also started to help out at the studio, and my first deep knowing of like, okay, yeah, this is a path I really want to go deep in, is that I started to help one of my teachers, and still one of my great teachers today, Mark Bredner, started to help him type out one of his yoga teacher training manuals.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember at the age of 22 typing this out and just bawling my eyes out, like of this deep knowing of like, wow, I found my way. I found what is really rings true for me. So that was, I was in, and there was no coming out of it, it just was a way of life for me. So that was the kind of beginning of it. Yeah.
I love this. I'm getting to know you even more. And who gave you permission to travel for 3 years? Like, that is an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, make a long story short, my parents, publicans, owned a pub for 20 years in Townsville. Yeah. And our home was also the pub. So I grew up in a pub. That's how I got into music, because I always had music in my environment growing up there. But, as soon as I finished high school, they sold the pub and they're like, Lulu, we're out of here. You can come travel with us, or you can stay home, go to university. And I was like, I didn't know what I wanted to study back then. So I was like, cool, I'll go with you. But I was only with my parents for 3 weeks.
I was going to say, you've traveled 3 years with your parents.
Right.
No.
So I was with my parents for 3, maybe 4 weeks, something like this. And as soon as I turned 18 and I met some other great friends, I was like, see ya.
And survival.
Yeah, I really learned very fast. And I feel very blessed that I did grow up in a pub, because I had great hospitality skills. I had great people skills. I love people. I was very curious. I wasn't afraid to ask questions. So it was a very incredible time, very insightful. I think also very scary too. If I think about it now, I'm like, far out. I was such an innocent, naive, naughty girl back then. But
some things haven't changed much.
Thanks.
No, I was going to say I'm not commenting.
And yeah, I'm super grateful for that.
Feel innocent. Yeah.
Being thrown in the deep end. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Thank you. And Mischka, what about you?
I was
you mentioned rock and roll, like
I mentioned rock and roll. There was awesome times there, but I think in that really all life experience are valuable, and they all, of course, yeah. You can't miss any of them. They all play their part. But it was like I think one of the earliest is actually my father, who, as my parents had their own dynamics and separated in some ways, he was always deep in philosophy on this. He found a little Buddhist center in a small town in Germany where I grew up and started going there. And he was a very kind of emotionally charged man. And I saw a big change over a couple of years in him through meditation. I heard mantra probably consciously for the very first time through him. He's dropped that, some years after. But yeah, that left a big, deep impact on me. It's like, wow, something is doing amazing work there in a positive way. So I think there was a remembrance of some sort in myself. That's like this, I have no idea what it is, but it feels familiar. And so that was number one, kind of bring me in. And he was very active in talking, almost like preaching about things. Whether you asked him what he's doing or not, he'd give you like a monologue. And bless him, I love him a lot. And then my brother, who I shared before, shared music with me in that way. He learned a lot of this at rainbow gatherings on his travels. So he took me along to some in Europe. This is basically very alternative gatherings that go over a month usually, and people come together and live in an alternative life. A lot about sharing cultures, council talking circles, co-created visioning, and co-facilitating workshops on a no money involved bass, whoever rocks up, whatever happens, very co-creative. And I met a lot of people there who were out of the life that I had seen through media and through where I grew up, of regular job, study, and so on, these things. And so people who travel the world and make up their own design of life, not follow the given boxes of life. And that was very, very inspiring, and inspired more thirst of travel inside of me. And more travel would lead to more people that just made it up as they went along, following their heart once again. And it's like, okay, this really actually, I knew growing up, I knew that existed, but I hadn't met anyone doing it. And so then I met those people, and it's like, okay, now it all makes sense in some way. And here we are still making it up as we go along in our own ways, and falling forward sometimes and rolling backwards in our life lessons, and trusting and accepting it in the ways, and committing to do in a positive way what feels right and good for ourselves, not in a purely selfish hedonistic way, but we believe if we align truly to what wants to come through us, this is naturally for the good of the community, of the greater. So
And you always had your guitar with you too in traveling.
Yeah, that was my girlfriend number one. The guitar.
I remember meeting you in Bondi with the guitar at your back, and Lulu's like, "This is Mischka," with dreadlocks.
I do remember meeting you then.
These sexy dreadlocks.
Long dreadlocks. Well, going back, you were playing, I think it was a Fig Tree. We were just talking before about in your home and gathering every Wednesday.
Yeah.
And the crowds got bigger, and you started to play in different spaces, in the yoga studios, with your community, and then as went on also playing it with One Space, and the crowds just got bigger and bigger. And your first album that you united and co-created was Hearts Wide Open, and then you went on to do Enchanted. And so take us through that and bring us to what has been happening now, because you've now about to release a new album. So I just think let's just go on this journey of how this, how did you get to bring all this music out, as you said?
Yeah. So our first album was actually Stillness and Motion.
Yeah,
sorry.
There's one before that.
Sorry,
That's
guys. Okay. Hearts Wide Open. Thank you. Was the second one.
Yeah.
All right. How exciting. Stillness
That's okay.
and Motion. How can I forget that one?
Keep up.
That's all good. So we're going to album number 4, but
yes.
Stillness and Motion was a real big birthing for us in
that
like,
was a long time.
A long time ago, 2012?
13.
13? Yeah. We're in a place in our lives where like, okay, we're in Sydney and in Australia, and your family's in Germany, and we were married, we got married, and we were committed to bridging our homes, Australia and Germany, and we felt like, wow, what a beautiful gift that we can bring this music to Europe. And so great, let's make an album and let's start bridging our homes with Germany and Australia. So that was the catalyst of birthing the first album, Stillness and Motion.
There was also like really we kind of requested from the community that had sang with us every week. As we started, usually in the beginning we'd sing other people's songs, traditional songs, and then slowly our own inspirations came in. We shared one or the other, and there was this natural request to, is there any of this recorded, and so on. So that was an honoring of that whole chapter of that community, because as we said,
that's true. Yeah.
After that, we felt, okay, let's bridge our homes, let's go to Europe, let's travel, let's be more out, leave the city. And I felt like all the albums was a natural progression for us. We continuously say that every album is like is like a chapter for
Chapter,
us, and
yeah.
it helps us ourselves in some ways to, in a creative way, to not to seal it, but to honor that chapter. And then it usually feels like there's an opening for a new energy to move through. So it's yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a completion of these songs, because then there's all these, you know, new prayers kept coming in. It was just, you know, honoring this chapter, so there's the next flow can come through. Yeah.
And also
It's been great.
the collaborations, you know, like I feel the more you collaborated with artists, the more they would become part of each project, and that just developed as well, you know, honoring the chapters that you had. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, that's like, it's the beauty. I mean, this is a constant collaboration between the two of us, stemming from our connection with each other. And then the same with other artists, and some is more musical, and some is deep friendships that we have nurtured and continue to nurture, and some are little moments that we spend together 2 days somewhere of the year in a place in whatever, France or Finland, but like deep connection. And with that also then a progress, and deep friendships and inspiration, a lot of inspiration.
And it's really, and again, all this music has come from let's connect to something greater than our everyday worries, you know. That's being the catalyst of coming together and just being in that. It's not like, oh, we need to make music, you know, we need to put another album out. It's never been like that. And you know, I wouldn't even consider we're both self-taught, you know, musicians as well. You know, by coming together with other artists, we're learning, we're growing, and always we're just connecting with the intention and the feeling. And if the feeling is there, it's like, great, then let's keep marinating in that. Keep co-creating in that. It's been a beautiful evolution.
Beautiful. I want to go into like, who are some of the people that have really been incredible mentors through you, you know, across Europe or in Australia, that have really helped you along the path with this sharing? In
the beginning of it, there's a lot. One, Kevin comes to my mind. Kevin James Carroll. He's been there in the very beginning when we met. I know he's played a lot with One Space many years ago, and he is a very heart-based, connected, beautiful man. His music has always resonated, and his way of being and sharing from a really authentic place has been there. There's
a lot.
So many.
I feel really blessed too, like Prem and Jethro, Sacred Earth, you know, like back in the early days, you know, being over their house for dinner and, you know, asking the big questions like, how do you do this and how do you do that? And, you know, it's always, the answers were always like that. We already knew the answers, you know. It's just like coming from trust and staying in the prayer. And there's been really beautiful inspirations.
Well, it's beautiful to see a couple actually doing what you vision, isn't it? It's beautiful to see them operating as a family, traveling and doing what they love. So I think that bringing yourself around that helped you see that it can be a reality, you know.
Absolutely. And also Ida and Joe as well, being great friends and great support. And it's beautiful. And you know what I love so much too is that all these artists, we're all on the same mission, and we're all just cheering each other on. You know, the more conscious musicians out there, the better. And
it's beautiful.
You know, these are artists that we know, you know, in person, and there's also many artists that have been incredible inspirations that, you know, just musically that we're inspired by as well. You know, like Murray Kyle and Shimshai and PR and Tina Malia, and the list can go on and on and on.
Rising Appalachia,
and it's like been a blessing. Been a blessing to in some ways many of them have been really deep inspirations, and you know, in pop culture possibly you would say idols in some ways, really like, wow, whatever, I don't know, I want to know what they do because it speaks through their music so much and it touches this place. And yeah, feeling really fortunate to call many of them friends now, collaborated with them, living with our brother Murray over the last couple of years, and Hearts Wide Open album has been collaborated with him, and he's just a deep inspiration too in many ways of songwriting, of walking his talk, and yeah.
Well, actually on that, because now we're over Zoom and you have a beautiful background behind you. So you're now living up in the Byron Shire. Let's talk about like all those beautiful conscious musicians that you are speaking about. I mean, everyone's conscious, but world musicians that are doing what they love and really spreading their message through doing that. They have a lifestyle that it balances out with what they're doing, and it really runs through them with that energy of the music. You can see that it's all in balance. So what is some of the things that you're doing in your lifestyle to help bring that balance so that you can continue doing what you love?
Yeah, thanks, Steph. This is like something that's been really bubbling up over the last couple of years also for us to share more of that, because we notice people feel, and that's what drew us in the music, that made us feel good, and the singing together, and then it's a big high, and then there comes the coming down of it in some ways, you know. We see that with people we connect with at our travels, at festivals, at our tours. So it's so important to have it's life-saving for us, you know, in some ways. This world is mad in many, many ways, and the mind, each individual mind is so intense. I speak for myself, you know, so this practice is what we feel really, the music's awesome, but the practices can help create this foundation. So
yeah, that's been such a big part. It's just like, hey, let's chant. You know, you're going from your everyday life, coming to a chanting experience, feeling liberated, feeling expanded. It's like, okay, so what we can do to continue this expansion? So, you know, part of our lifestyle is implementing, you know, like daily sadhana, you know, so some sort of movement, you know, to open up the joints, open up the bodies, whether it's a walk on the beach, a jog, asana, qigong, you know, the list goes on, swimming, and then having our meditation. And over the years, the meditation has shifted because we grow, we shift. So the practice also shifts as well. So we'll have our meditation, and
meditation usually is like some breathing exercises, also knowing how it's important to work with the breath, retrain, because most of us, as we come to the world as babies, we have this amazing expansive breath, and somehow through life we take on the habits that we actually withhold the life force, the breath that can help us actually feel so good, and we kind of push on it, hold it in or not allow it in. And so just opening these pathways through very simple breathing exercises has been amazing. And then some stillness, sitting, being conscious, allowing the mind to do its thing, not getting tangled up in that. And sometimes we get these moments of grace where it's all quiet for a little time. That's
definitely. And in that quiet space, you know, and then there's the lifestyle, there's always that little part of the witnessing in life. So, you know, noticing or falling in love with the synchronicities, falling in love with the deep insights, falling in love with the inspiration that comes, you know. It's like, okay, knowing that, okay, this is the flow, this is where, you know, grace is guiding me to go. So deepening that awareness in life as well. So then the other practicalities is, you know, we all have to eat. So, you know, buying local, you know, being at the organic markets every week, growing a garden, getting our hands in the earth, particularly as touring musicians. Well, not at the moment, but, you know, with a lot of travel, there's nothing better than getting our hands and our feet into the earth. So, having a garden at home is part of the lifestyle, and also just community gatherings, community coming together in community, coming into the teepee or a home to have a sharing. Like often there will be like women's gatherings or men's gatherings where we can just open and be vulnerable and share what's present and be held by our brothers and sisters in this evolvement, in this growth. You know, I think that's a big part of this conscious movement, is being safe to be seen by your community, and also and cheering each other on, you know, because we're all in this together. I would say that's probably some kind of nuts and bolts of this lifestyle.
In terms of music, like I mean, many people see us or connect us with mantra a lot. We love mantra, and that's a big influence in our music. It's not the only thing. As I said earlier, we don't have a traditional way in there. So maybe some people do know us, feel like, do we have a mantra practice? Do we use that? Or
the question might be, do you have a guru that you particularly resonate with? And I think that's important to bring up that.
Yeah. For us personally, it's been various influences, and some of them are Indian lineage gurus, teachers in human form that deeply blessed our hearts, and get the opportunity to spend time in the physical with them. And but also various traditions. We've traveled to South America, spent time there in the Amazon, in the Andes, with different wisdom traditions that have like just this understanding of like simplicity again, and you know, the bigness and achieving mentality of our Western cultures like gets stripped away there again. And once again, also then nature as our teacher, as our guru, just sitting, listening, watching the ocean or the river for a while and drawing our inspiration from there. So it's very, very organic there.
And also in all that, like having a coach, you know, over the years we've had teachers, you know, someone that whether it's our community or just someone like one-on-one like coaching as well, you know, and it's really grounding. It's really like, you know, that commitment to acknowledge the shadow and the light that is in all of us, and to help us understand our karma, our, you know, what our stories that we're working with. You know, we all have our shit, we all have our stuff, we all have our
blockages,
our stories, our blockages, and in this journey of working with different traditions, you know, it's in all of it, it's always come back to falling in love actually with these challenges and going, great, like this is an opportunity to sit in this uncomfortability, because I know it's going to help me grow even more. You know, it's going to help me just strengthen into my medicine, into our medicines, you know. So, you know, I think that's the beauty of these yogic wisdoms and all traditions is an opportunity to see that all of journey has its purpose, has its place.
Yeah, that's beautifully said, because I think that in that finding that balance, you are doing what you love, but it still is running a business, isn't it? And it's about having that, without planning our days, enabling ourselves to also be accountable, and to, you know, even if shit comes up and our self-doubt comes up, to stay on path and to continue to show up and do what it is that we've set a path to do. But also allowing that fluidity and grace to step in and show us which way to go. So I think that what you've explained it really well. And is there anything else you want to add to that, like finding the balance of the business and and trusting in, you know, because for instance, right now touring has come to a standstill. How did that, you know, with this idea of finding that balance, how did that affect you? Did you have to cancel upcoming tours? And it
was huge. We had to cancel two European tours and four retreats, Turkey, Finland, and 2 in Germany. You know, and and
a lot of preparation.
Incredible amounts of preparation and energy into that, and then also this deep. I think in all of that, it's been a deep level of trust, of like letting go. It's actually been really profound, actually, for us to stay at home. But on a business level, I just feel incredibly grateful that I have Mischka in my life, and vice versa. You know, we work together, we bounce off each other, and you know, we have our strengths in different areas within the business, so to speak, and we also do our best to outsource as well. You know, us get someone who loves doing things that we don't love, so that we can just continue doing what we love. So that's a big, huge part within keeping the balance.
It's a constant. I feel it's a constant, and it's not easy. You know, it's a constant balance and re-evaluation. How much we pour in, and sometimes we tip over a bit and put too much energy into the admin, and then pull ourselves back, and then okay, let's go deeper into the creative, into the on-site, but then that all,
and then balance relationship as well, and
balance relationship, and that's like, okay, let's not talk about any planning and this, you know, but then at the same time it's beautiful because we love visioning and seeing like,
wow, what about this and what about that, and oh, what about this,
and you can't choose the moments when these ideas come through, and it's all,
because I think that's a question that I think a lot of listeners would want to ask is, you know, actually I'm not going to go about myself, but when you work with someone, you know, very closely that you share a mission with, they say it's impossible to work and be in a friendship or a relationship. So we're seeing more and more almost like divine masculine and divine feminine coming together and creating this balance and stepping into their mission. And it's very much what I witnessed with the two of you. So where am I going with that is it is, you know, because we're constantly listening to that creative flow coming in, and that is what inspires you both and connects you both, is having that creativity. It is something is like, you know, how do you manage that? Do you have actual days off where you're not allowed to talk about anything to do with the mission and just actually be in the present moment? Like what do you think is the secret or one of the gifts that help you honor that within each other?
I feel number one is communication, like learning to not just go blah, 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 and share with each other, like listen. It's like,
well, it can be simple as like, he'll go blah 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 and I'll go, I'm actually not in that zone right now, can you hold that thought for later? You know,
or actually me, before I go, the saying like, hey, are you up for chatting about this, you know? So
I love that.
or no. And then it's
I think they're tools, not gifts. Tools.
And we rarely set days or weeks or whatever where we like totally block it all out, because it's such a big part of our being and there's a lot about it that we love. But I think it naturally comes, and we're learning with that too, how to balance, how to find the balance there. But it's like, it's small periods, and more so the communications. Are you in the zone to, Lulu, you know, are you up for chatting about this now or not? Or otherwise I'll go about it myself. Or little reminders to each other that said, hey, Mischka, I think you've put a lot of energy into that now. Maybe take a rest and play some music, or give me a foot massage. Yes.
Yeah.
Or
I mean,
cook me dinner.
Yeah.
Exactly. We have our regular sadhana practice in the morning, and and often too, before we go to bed, more so Mischka, his wind down is playing guitar and singing, so there's been a natural flow of looking after ourselves individually and also together as well. And we also make a conscious effort each month to deepen our love as well, deepen our communication. So we'll look at the new moon and have an opportunity to be like, no, we get excited to an opportunity of like, how can we deepen our communication?
Look at the new moon.
Thank you for clarifying. Like, at least once a month, somewhere in the month, have an opportunity to have a deeper chat, have a deeper
Connection.
Connection.
Or meet up do an online meet up with the teacher or mentor, like a.
I thought you were going to say you both go in different rooms and meet up online.
No.
Well,
That'd be hilarious.
No, we haven't had to do that one yet.
Yeah.
Various things, all the things that are us, the business, the friendship, the intimacy, all of it, like finding once again finding balance in between all of them, and it's like also not being upset if something goes out of balance, just learning from it and apologizing is good. Yeah, definitely. If something doesn't feel right, or we're human too, we bump heads as well, but we very quickly come back to
realign.
Very quickly realign. I'll be like, okay, let's if there's something that's I've said something that's made him react, or vice versa, they'll be very quickly resolved. Both of us are not interested in it takes a lot of energy to hold discomfort or anger or resentment. Like, it's exhausting, and no one wants to feel like that. So we very quickly come into communication and talk it through.
And I think it's about not only coming into communication, it's about coming back into that alignment, but also not blaming each other for what just happened and taking responsibility. And then you're able to just go within and clear it, because that's
I love the saying, forgiveness is not an emotion, forgiveness is a choice. It's like okay, we can go there any moment consciously, and then some emotions might linger, but like it's a willingness to move forward, not stay in there in the past.
Staying the victim.
It works.
Yeah. And also just returning to, again, that understanding that in the discomfort, or in the if there's a place of discomfort or of hiding, it's actually an opportunity of deep growth, of another level of deep bonding and deep understanding, a deep weaving. So seeing that's like, oh, this is uncomfortable, but how are we going to get a little bit deeper now? Okay, we go into this uncomfortability.
Yeah. Beautifully said. Let's come now to what have you've been busy during this time, and you've got a new project coming out called Horizon. Take us through some of the incredible collaborations on this project and how this was birthed and came through.
Yeah, it's been so this is album number 4, Horizon. That will be released now this month, and I come to some details in a moment, but just the vision of that's been songs, some of them with us kind of for 7-8 years, other for 5 years, from our South America trip in Brazil or up in the Peruvian Andes. Some songs relatively new from last year or the year before, and as we shared before, there's always the time. This one's actually the longest kind of window where we haven't brought a new album out, even though it feels like yesterday that we released Enchanted, but it's been over 3 years. And at some point, many different things have to align in the way of who do we work with in the recording process. Do we have that window where we can have the time to go in and record? And it's taken us from end of last year, December, is when we started recording this album, here in the Byron Shire with a beautiful friend of ours, with
Yep.
who you know him too, Avishai Barnatan, beautiful musician and sound healing facilitator and music producer.
Yep.
And so working with him in an amazing, beautiful studio, half an hour from here in the rainforest, was just magical, inspirational beauty around at his home there in the studio. And so starting end of last year, and this is where the Corona lockdown has played in our favor too. We had all time schedules. He was going away. The mixing man was going to go away. We were going to go away, and everything opened up, and so we could actually bring more and more energy into this album. It's been amazing. Of this, it's 10 tracks. And it takes us, through actually also a newish side of ours, and many listeners might not have come across. Some more songs. Maybe half of the album is songs, also catchy to sing along, but maybe not as like
not chanting,
not
circle.
chanting circle songs. But there's something that's also just another expression side of ours, and it's been beautiful to bring that through and weave it together, different languages, English, Spanish, Portuguese, Sanskrit, mantras, song with medicine drum, many different instruments, beautiful collaboration, guest musician, Bansuri player Manos, who's known through Deva
I
Premal
know.
Mitten, is on the album.
I feel
So
very lucky.
exciting. How did you get to have that opportunity come into play?
So Deborah Pamal and Mitten do their yearly retreat here in Mullumbimby,
Yes.
and Abishai is good friends with them, and all it takes
And
is Manos, and just took a little phone call. It's like, hey, this opportunity is open. Are you interested? And we had
It was perfect timing. And
Perfect timing.
we had met him at some small events before. He's very
Very
social,
sweet. Yeah.
open man that meets many people everywhere. But this was a beautiful, very, very beautiful moment, and he's simply a master at what he does. Absolutely incredible.
That is
And
someone living on purpose and just taking what he loves and riding it. Riding a wave, isn't he?
Definitely.
Such joy and sweetness.
Definitely. And I have one particular, memory of Manos when he come into the studio. It's just like, do you want to have a kind of little listen to it before you go in and, lay down? And he was like, no. I was like, really? So no, he says, I just want to feel it.
Yeah, totally.
And it was just like beautiful, and literally like I think
Nailed
he just
it.
played. He just nailed it,
Yeah,
We were
like
sitting there, tears running. It's so beautiful.
it's so nice.
As he feels the music in a beautiful way. And our dear brother Marikayo, who we've worked with previously, and he's bringing his vocals on one track. Very,
incredible vocals.
Beautiful way. And many musicians from around here. Shaishriki is on it.
Okay, wow. This is exciting.
Yeah, there's violin and cello, beautiful artist. Abishai himself with beautiful flutes. Our brother Baran Yildiz from Sydney, percussion. And Tina Malia.
Yeah, so tell us about that, because I remember introducing you to Tina Malia, and that was one of those moments when you were like, so, and then you got to, it's okay to say that, yeah? And then she knows that. And then you actually got to cross paths with her on festivals overseas and actually got to be on same stages. How incredible, manifesting.
Yeah,
the journey.
definitely. Because we're all on the same mission, and it's the same tribe. It's this, this
soul family.
Tribe. Yeah, soul family, exactly. And we've seen her a bunch of times throughout Europe at the same festivals, and beautiful sister, beautiful bond. Geeky, big-hearted sister, and
geeky is the word.
We've had a great opportunity to sing, to support her on stage, and we've got a beautiful bond. So it was very natural to send her an email, and we have a beautiful track called Oshun, just honoring the waters, and Tina is one of, she's one of my five top favorite female vocalists and beings, and to have her, as joining me on this track is, it's a dream come true for me, to have that feminine force with this prayer of honoring the waters. So I feel very excited to possibly share that today as well with the audience. A little taste.
So I got to listen to that and just totally moved me. I could feel the vibration of that song. It's the one song that I've got to taste from this new album. So thank you for that gift, because it was beautiful to just bring me into the energy about what you're about to share. Did she record her part from overseas and then you blended it? Is that what you went in the studio together?
Yeah, that's
superb. Yeah.
One of the few distant recordings that we did for this album, because there was no way that was deep into lockdown and so on. Yeah, she's in the States, in California, and that's quite common and easy these days to do that, and with a bit of briefing what the vibe is. And she's very professional.
Oh well, it's just sublime, that song. Yeah. Well, tell us how we can support you now. What else you've got coming up, and so you've got this event where people can gather. Is September 12th? Have I got it right?
12th.
Yeah.
So
this is since we can't tour, which is what musicians do, is tour to share their new music. We had to put our creative thinking cap on, and it came to me in a meditation. It was just like a global listening lounge, like
I love the name, Lulu.
Thank you. Is our prayers to bring thank you. Prayer to bring people together, to sing, to connect, to remember. And so we just want to do release our album online through Zoom. Okay. And we're inviting, and it's free to register, and we invite you to bring all your friends to come. And in this event we're going to share with you our music video. Okay. It's one of the songs, and we love to share a handful of them live with a band and singing together. And we've created in a way that we'll be able to see everybody, and they'll be able to see us, where we will have someone pinning, so we can really see everybody singing and being in the energy of the prayer.
That's a big production. That's a big production.
It is. Yeah. We still have a little bit of work to do.
I mean, you must have a good team up there.
Yeah, there's beautiful people here, and I guess it's pros and cons to the online things. On one hand, that's awesome that people we have a big following in Europe, where we've toured continuously for 7-8 years. People there can link in live and feel part of it. We'll be sharing stories about each song. We press for many songs. Some we will share live, the one that work really well to sing along, and others we press play, basically invite everyone to either have good headphones, or set up good speakers, not through your phone and laptop. Have good sound quality, because this is where you meet the music really beautifully, and actually honor the 7-8 months of hours and hundreds of hours of our work. So we press play to some of the beautiful, deep layered, rich music.
Treating this as like a kind of a sound healing, to receive this sonic medicine. Implement intentions for each song, so they can drop into really drinking up the value and the benefits of these tracks.
And for us, each album is a prayer, is an intention, a big intention. So there's some, if you register, there's an email, and there's few mini instructions of what to bring, and we'll be co-creating an altar on the spot with a few simple things just to anchor everything, once again through a common intention, through meditation, through the elements. And we're excited for that. We'll can have a few people in the room with us, working with the restrictions that are in place. So
it's a great opportunity to come together. And half of it will be seeing us and singing with us, and half of it, you can have your eyes closed and just be in the sonic medicine, so you don't have to be looking at the screen the whole time.
Light a candle, create an altar, temple at your home, make it really beautiful. Yeah,
and a way to say, to say thank you for this by by being part of this event, we'll have the opportunity for you to purchase the album at a discounted rate as well.
Okay.
Yeah, the official launch release, and actually after that, everyone who registers can buy the album then, and you get the digital immediately, and we send out the CD if you wish so. But then the official launch is not until maybe 10 days later or so. So yeah, everyone else will have to wait a little while to
get
their hands on the music. So this is our way to say, come on, let's come together. Here it is. We've put so much energy into this, and love to share it with you.
Yeah, come on a journey with us.
Are you limited to how many people you can have join online?
No, so far we have 200 registrations from
fantastic
around. I think it's through Zoom, so that's max 1,000. Let's see, but we say the intention is not everyone has to register. You could have like
family
whatever
group.
you're allowed. Yeah, family group. We actually encourage that. We want people to actually have also friends and family with them. You know, the only thing there is we're everyone who will be present to share their email with us, so we can send that link of purchasing the music afterwards. So that's
sounds divine.
Easy peasy.
And we have multiple more projects coming, but I think there might that's more meditation courses and embodiment courses related. And online we have launched some of them previously, but there's a few more beautiful things coming throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah, and then we have our Hearts Wide Open chanting retreat here on the 11th to the 13th of December in Maldives, which is always a super, super, super deep journey. And
it's my birthday weekend.
Ooh.
Sounds divine. I will share all the links at the show details. Did you want to share anything live with the listeners today?
Not prepared for that at this moment. I think it's nice. We've shared quite a bit live online. I think it's nice to give them. We sent you the track. I think that's a really special thing that we haven't done much yet. So I'll give people a sneak peek. I think that's a pretty special.
Well, we're going to share now a sneak peek of this song. So can you introduce, before we go out, a little message that you want to share to introduce?
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, love to. This track.
Just gonna change you. Yeah, go.
This track came to me when we spent 5 years ago time in Brazil, and they have the traditions of the orixás, which is like brought over from West Africa, really deep connection with nature and deities, embodiments, energies of different aspects of nature, and they call the energy the goddess of the sweet fresh waters, Oxum. And so this is Portuguese lyrics to Oxum, which is like when we were there, she's like in the waterfalls. We were in this area in Alto Paraíso, which is like this highland, jungly, amazing area, full crystalline earth, all the waterfalls. You go in, you pull out quartz crystals out of the water, and this is the energy of Oxum, this really deep love, connection. They say also fertility, friendship, protection, creativity, the deep flow, the deep feminine, and for us also just the quality of water. Again, there's a spoken word of me, a prayer in there too in English, of a prayer for the water, for the sweet fresh waters, how precious this is, how much we actually depend on the water. Without water there's no us, not maybe a few days, and then it's over for us without water. So it's a deep prayer for the fresh waters, and a joyful little beautiful melody.
Yeah, very catchy, and you know, in this process of from that is that deep prayer for us, is for all the listeners to if they haven't already, to start to open themselves to making a relationship with the water as well, and not just seeing it as water, but as actually seeing it as a being, as a spirit in itself, you know. And in that, when we have that connection with the water, you know, when we have that deep gratitude, you know, it can deeply nourish us in so many ways. And
for us, this is probably a key factor to the healing that so many of us long for on our planet and our relationship with the planet, really honoring the water and not taking for granted that it comes out of the tap each day, but really giving thanks. And coming back to the music, I'd also love to honor Tina Malia for vocals, and also Brother Baran Yildiz, who's playing the beautiful hang drum there, which is deliciously played, and it's been something we look forward to sharing with everyone.
Definitely. And for the listeners, if you have a glass of water beside you right now, or you know, even invite you to get a glass of water or your tea or any liquid.
No, I have water. Yeah.
Just have an opportunity before listening to it and just saying thank you, water. We love you.
Thank you.
Water.
I've got some alkaline water here right now today.
Yum.
So,
where there's water, there is life.
On that note, where there's water, there is life. Thank you for honouring me with your presence today and for showing up on One Space Love podcast. Thank you so much. It's been so beautiful learning more about your journey.
Thank you, Stephanie. We love you so much. Deeply honoured.
Thank you, One Space Love Tribe.
Minha mãe Oxum, flor do meu coração, águas benditas, águas profundas, minha mãe Oxum, lava o meu coração. Águas benditas, águas profundas, minha mãe Oxum, lava o meu coração, minha mãe Oxum, flor do águas benditas, águas profundas, minha mãe Oxum, lava o meu coração, lava o meu coração.
I wanted to just take a few moments to share that I've just released the new website landing for One Space Love Community, and it's called onespace.love.
My space, your space. Your space, my space. Our space. One space, love. My space, your space. Your space, my space. Our space. My space, your space. Your space, my space. Our space. One space, love. your space. Your space, my space. Our space. One space love. One space love. One space love.